What is up, everybody? How's it going this afternoon? Welcome to a live stream on a Tuesday. This is something I think I might actually start to do. You can tell and see that I am by myself. Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone. What I want to use this live stream for, this was actually Leslie's suggestion. She's like, you should do a live stream and get in the comments and just chat with everybody yourself, because a lot of times I can't see everything that happens on Thursday to try to pack that in. And also, there's a lot of other things that I want to talk about, little hot take things and things that come up in the news that we don't normally put in our product news segment on Wednesdays, because we do the news on Wednesday, but that's always gear related. And I mean, let's face it, I have opinions, so you're just going to hear them. If you don't like that, you don't have to watch. Also, I don't, I read all the comments on YouTube, but I don't reply very often anymore because I don't feel like it's very constructive. So, because, people in comments, you can't ever hear what they really mean and all that kind of stuff. So I figured one of the things I would do with this is I've grabbed a bunch of comments out of the last week or so, questions and stuff that people had that we're going to address, and it's just some funny stuff as well. So we're going to chat. You get in the comments. If there's anything that you want to add to our live stream this afternoon, you can do it as well, and I'll try to jump in there and catch that. Put a bunch of questions in front of it if you really want me to catch it, or if you really want me to catch it, use a super chat and I'll stop what I'm doing and we will throw that up on the screen and chat with you for a minute. It's espresso this afternoon because it's Tuesday afternoon and we've wound 34 pickups so far today. It's been a busy one. We should say hi to a few of you folks that are here. Haas, Charles Wallace, me, Chris, Brian, Dave, Robert, Veal, I don't know how to say her name, sorry. Jim Woodard, what's up, Jim? Nick, Gary, Ivan. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon. So yeah, get in the comments and say hello if you can. Also, let us know where you're from. We've been doing that a lot lately. A couple of news stories that I wanted to chat about that aren't gear related, that I find kind of interesting, that people are kind of up in arms about. One of the things actually came from comments. So we did the news, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago. And everybody thought I missed the boat on this whole Pantera is on tour thing. No, they aren't. Rex and Phil are on tour. There is no Pantera. The brothers are dead. RIP. Both of them. There is no Pantera. It's a tribute band at best, and I'm not giving it any more time than that. And that's all I'm going to say about it. And if you are from Texas and you disagree with me because Texas, I don't care. I mean, that's just my opinion on it. The other thing that came up in the news this week, earlier this week maybe, is that, or maybe it was last week, and I think it's still starting to come out and figure it out now, that Nita Strauss has left the Alice Cooper band, and because she was playing for Alice Cooper, and she's playing for Demi Lovato. And what's really funny is there's a lot of shredhead people and a lot of guitar nerds that are really, really, really up in arms over this because Demi Lovato is a pop star. All I'm going to say is go Nita Strauss, grabbing an act that undoubtedly has more tour dates, which means more money, also puts her guitar playing in front of way more people than Alice Cooper, because she's just going to be out more. It's going to be younger people. It's going to be a bunch of people who aren't like pedalboard peeping and like, you didn't play that solo right from that classic song. People aren't going to be doing that at a Demi Lovato concert. It's just going to be a bunch of kids having fun. Well, adults too, just having fun. Because there is something to be said for people that actually listen to music for fun and don't just pedalboard peep and rag on other people's gear and, are gearheads or shred heads. Like, you can listen to music just for fun too. So I think it's really cool. let's briefly chat to keep all the people who whine about things taking too long to get to the main topic in live streams. Let's briefly chat about the. I'm just going to get all my opinions out there, and then you can add to them in the comments if you like. Be nice when you talk about it, obviously. But I watched a video. It was actually about something else very similar. It was actually the Casino Guitars guys. And Baxter and Jonathan were talking about being too afraid to play their expensive guitars. Like people that buy a guitar and are afraid to gig it or are afraid to play it. And in some respects, I kind of get that. Like if you pay, $15,000 for a private stock PRS, chances are you're not going to gig it in a dive bar on the weekend. But the value of that instrument is in playing it, right? So the value in that instrument is what you get out of it as an instrument just as much as it is the actual dollar value as well. It depends why you're buying it. I mean, if you're a collector and you just want it for the investment, you're probably in the wrong business. But then again, the value is in playing the guitar. Looks like we have a super chat. Thank you, sir. I guess I'll give you the DJ horn like Leslie does. Jim says, good for Nita. I would take that gig too. Getting that many people get to see you and get rock and metal in front of more people is awesome. This is great, and only gatekeepers are negative about it. That's exactly what I think, Jim. That is 100% what I think about that. I think it's dumb to limit music based on ideals that don't really apply to reality, in my opinion. Like, this is just an opinion, but music is whatever it is in that moment. And wherever it's going is where it's going. And if the people in that moment enjoy that music, then that's the way it should be. And if that's something that she wants to do, more power to her. And she's got to pay bills. I mean, let's face it. There is no future in being a hired gun for Alice Cooper. He's gonna die. All of those people that people think are these classic rock gods are in their 70s. And they're gonna die. And when they do, what future does any of these hired gun people that are Nita's age and younger have? They got to start building that future now. So, I mean, I totally get it. I totally get it. Okay, so this whole thing about expensive guitars got me back kind of thinking about, and they were talking about resale value, like if you scratched the guitar or you did something to the guitar and it killed resale value. And my opinion on that has always been part of the value that you get from the instrument is actually the playing and experiencing the instrument. Resale value, if you go into a store and you let how much that you could get for the guitar on Reverb influence your purchasing decision, you're not buying the right guitar, and you're not playing guitar for the right reasons, in my opinion, because you're not, like, if you're already worried about selling the guitar, oh, I probably won't like this. That's what you're telling yourself. You're already negative on the instrument before you even start. If you're buying it as an investment, maybe that's a different story. But chances are you're doing that in a completely different context. This goes for you pedal board people too. If I put a pedal on Reverb and it does not have the original box, I am not discounting it 40% because it doesn't have the original box. The end. And you're going to pay whatever the pedal is worth, even though I don't have the original box, because the tone is not in the box. It's in the pedal. So, or whatever you put into it, you know what I mean? So I just think that this whole resale value thing is kind of dumb. And where it comes into what we do is, you're going to spend, okay, let's take, for example, these people that are sending in their wide range humbuckers to get reworked. This is probably going to go into a $400 guitar. They're going to invest $220 into a $400 guitar to make it sound better. some would say that is not worth it. There's not enough resale value in the guitar. But if it makes you play the guitar more, if you get value out of it, then it doesn't matter. And there's no point in putting resale value into a decision making process unless you're one of those people that just flips instruments. Some people in the comments on my Facebook post today got in there and they were talking, well, yeah, I can't make up my mind. That has nothing to do with it. That's your problem. One. Other people, too, have said, well, I don't know if I'm going to like it and I can't shop locally. You know, like I have to buy stuff. Then what you need to do, if that's the case, if you don't have experience with enough instruments, then slow down on purchasing them and learn more about what it means to have a good instrument. Purchase less instruments and buy fewer good ones, but take more time to make those purchasing decisions. And I'm not going to say it out loud, but you know that there are certain brands that people just pile up for the sake of having 10 or 15 guitars, when what they really should do is say, okay, I want a good guitar, and learn about the instrument enough to where you can make a better purchasing decision. I mean, that's what we do on this channel, really, to be honest, is to help people do that. Because, I mean, let's face it, it's hard to make decisions on stuff. But if you learn neck radiuses, that most people can play most neck radiuses, and it's not that big a deal. And neck profiles, people can be a little picky about that. I understand that. And how pickups work and all those sorts of things. Then you can make better purchasing decisions and not have to worry about it so much. On top of that, just play. The more you play and the more hours you get out of an instrument and the tighter you get to that thing and the more you like that thing, the less resale value matters. So I don't know. I just think it's an interesting concept. Your opinion is biased by your experiences. You like instruments that don't hold value. I don't think that's true, sir, because I have some pretty cool stuff that holds some pretty cool value. And actually, even my very first guitars that are not expensive do hold value. I don't worry about that though. I mean, I've got a Mexican Strat in the closet that I can't sell to save my life. I've got a pink Schecter MGK up there that I probably won't be able to give away because people don't like Machine Gun Kelly. I don't care. I just like playing guitar. Pretty interesting. Oh, let's see. I'm bad at flipping guitars. Yeah, dude, I think everybody is. It's for sure. Yep. Instead of not liking it. So, you know what's funny? That's the thing too, is learn to like stuff. I mean, I could go off on an entire other rant about people who get in comments and all they ever do is not like stuff. Like, that's a perspective. If you expect to not like an instrument when you get it for some reason, Gibson quality, Fender this, PRS that, like all of the air quotes kind of boilerplate responses about various brands that we get trained by Facebook groups and by the gear page to think we're supposed to believe. If you just leave all that stuff aside and go experience the stuff for yourself, chances are you're going to like the instruments more and try to get into a concept of actually liking stuff. I think guitar players are really sucked into that whole pedal board peeping, rig peeping thing. Like, what does he have on his pedal board? Oh, I like my thing better. Like, it's good to like your stuff, but you know, the hunt is half the fun. Dude, that's true. That is really true. I like waiting for a guitar. A couple of the guitars I have now, one of them I waited for a year. The other one I waited like 9 months for it. And I wanted to get it, but the anticipation was kind kind of part of the fun, if that makes sense. And it made it more exciting. Like new guitar day was like more exciting. And I suck at patience, to tell you the truth. I would rather pay overnight freight and just get it here or whatever. You know, like I suck at patience, but I think it's really fun. Conditioned response. I think your first guitar shouldn't be a Gibson custom shop. I think your first guitar should be whatever you want it to be. And I think that whatever you feel like spending on it, don't let anybody tell you you're not good enough to have that or you don't deserve that guitar or whatever. Whatever guitar inspired you to play, get it. Absolutely get it. Yeah, for sure. Resale value is important if you don't have much disposable income, and each purchase you make may need to be resold to fund a replacement if it doesn't work out. If the return window is too short. Okay, so I definitely see your point there. That makes a lot of sense because we all have to save up for guitars. Like, I mean, yeah, no matter, we do. We all have to. I mean, I had to sell like, I don't know. Well, I had to sell 2 amps and a guitar because my PRS came in. You know what I mean? Like we all have to do that. So I totally get that. But one of the things I think about with that is those amps that I had. So let's say I paid $400 for an amp and I sold it for $300. So I sort of lost $100 on that amp. I can't expect to get what I paid for it because it's used. 1. 2, how bad do I want the thing that I am getting to replace it? So like, if I don't want the new thing very bad, then I'm willing to sell anything. I'll sell all my stuff if I want the thing bad enough. And I'll take a hit on something if I want the new thing bad enough. So it's all sort of a balance, right? But knowing that you have a new thing coming or something else coming, the other thing you have to remember too is the use that you got out of it. You can't expect to have an instrument for X amount of years and then sell it for more than it's worth just because you didn't like it. You had it for an X amount of time, right? Like, if you had it for 6 months, how much is 6 months worth of that guitar to you? Like that's the other thing. And how much is that 6 month worth to somebody else? This is something that I'm running into. I'm buying weird stuff because I like it. So I bought that purple Kramer back there is kind of a wacky guitar. And then of course the MGK guitar. I bought those guitars knowing that if I put them on reverb, I'm going to get nothing for them because they're weird and nichey and not everybody else is going to like them. But I like them enough to know that I don't care about that. Some of the stuff we buy for the channel, I'll do it differently. If we buy a guitar that I know I'm going to sell, like that thin line Telly that only lasted like an hour and a half, then I will like pick popular colors and stuff because I know I want to sell it. So that's something you can do if you're in that situation where you're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to like this guitar or not, or this piece of gear or not. Try to buy it in something that's popular, not that you like it, but that somebody else will like it when you go to sell it. That does help. That definitely does help. I sold my Breedlove and my Kemper to buy my McPherson. Fortunately, I was able to buy my Breedlove back, so I do have it. But it took me a year and a half to be able to do that. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Here's a question. Can the 6 tiny terminals on a 500K pot on a tone and volume be connected at all? Do you have a video on push-pull installs? I do. There is one on there. There's got a pretty good video about how to wire a... Yeah, we do have one of those. You'll have to search it up. I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but we do have one of those. Couple of questions that came in this week I wanted to get to. First of all, the video about the guitar that we're building, not that we are building, that you are building when you go out to Texas Toast in Colorado, and building that guitar and winding your own pickups as part of that live 5-day workshop. Somebody said Jonathan said, this is something I really want to do, but I don't live near Denver. I wish I could be there. There are a lot of people coming from all over the country. In fact, they had some classes with people from Canada. We've had people try to come from England. They couldn't because of COVID, but there was people that have come to that thing from all over the place. So it is not limited to local people just around Denver. I know you have to travel there to do that, but I just wanted to mention that. Somebody asked me this week too, what is your recommended soldering iron temperature setting? I've heard everything from 375 to 750 Fahrenheit. I solder typically at 700. If I am doing a bunch of like pickup covers like this, like the bases and stuff, like tomorrow I have to do a bunch of Telecaster bridge pickups and put the bases on them. I will solder at 800 Fahrenheit. For those of you that use metric money, maybe you can put a conversion to that in the chat so that people know what that is, because I don't know what the Celsius conversion of 700 and 800 Fahrenheit are. Let's see. The 250 versus 500K pots thing accused me of an hugely oversimplified description. A video this long should have enough time to include descriptions of the resonance in a pickup due to its inherent inductance and the capacitive effect of the guitar lead, etc. So we could put all of that information in a video. We could pack every video with tons of technical information. The problem is that it's not digestible. And while you, Mr. Snipo Kunkajunk, or whatever your name is, may be able to digest that much information in a video, a lot of people can't. And so it's easier to put into a video and really stretch out an explanation and make it very simple, one concept at a time. So that's one of the reasons why we do that. I know that some people don't like it. Some people don't like oversimplified explanations, but there are a lot of people that don't really have for understandable reasons. If it's not your area, you just never really looked into it that much. There's lots of stuff I have no idea about because I just don't care. I've never looked into it. And then when I want to know in a way that I can easily digest and understand. So that's one of the reasons why we do our videos like that. That doesn't mean we don't have videos on resonance and inductance, resonant peak and inductance. We do have very in-depth videos on those, just not all in the same one. 5 reasons not to buy a Chibson. Somebody says, sounds like somebody bought a counterfeit and thought it was real. No, actually, I've never bought a counterfeit instrument. I refuse to do so. I don't play in counterfeit, and I think people give me a hard time about this a lot, actually, but I am extremely sensitive and firm to intellectual property issues, because in my previous life in the power sports industry, I was a victim of it. I had somebody steal some ideas and make a lot of money, and I also had China steal some stuff and screw me out of much money. And so I've personally had it happen to me. And so I make sure that whatever we do on this channel, we are not stealing intellectual property. We are not supporting companies that steal intellectual property. And we do not steal intellectual property with any of our pickups, and we protect the intellectual property that is in our pickups. That's a big thing for me. I really am super firm on that. Let's jump back in here real quick. 371 Celsius. Awesome. There were dudes from Alaska, California, Indiana, and more the last time I attended. Oh yeah, that's right, because you have been. All right. Here, hang on. Let's just go back and see if anybody has. What's wrong with purple? Nothing's wrong with purple. Is that Gary who asked that? Let me see. Gary just got a purple guitar too, and I got a purple guitar. Yeah, R&D ain't free. No, that is 100% for sure. And people are like, "Well, you just copy pickups." No, we don't actually. We don't have one model. There is not one model that we sell on Dylan Talks Tone that is a copy in any way of anybody else's pickup. Obviously, the technology is very simple. It's literally wire wrapped around a magnet. So, you could argue that everybody is stealing from everybody. But I actually don't look at other people's. People ask me this all the time. I do not look at other people's websites. I do not look at other people's pickup specs. I don't do any of that. Whatever you see on the website is something that we have either come up with and then tweaked and then tweaked and then tweaked and then tweaked. And then it got like 4 or 5 different iterations down the road from its original, which that happens a lot. That's mostly what happens. The only time we will clone something is when a guitar company comes to me and says, we already have this pickup design, because this happens a lot. In fact, now that I'm saying that, this pickup right here is a clone of another guitar company or another pickup, but it was done at the behest of the owner of the guitar company. He's like, look, I designed this pickup with so-and-so back in such and such a year. I own this design and I want to have you make a version of it. So therefore we worked with him to come up with that. So that is a thing, but I'm using his intellectual property and only selling it to him. That pickup right there is not on the website, for example. So there's all that kind of stuff. Kind of interesting. Yeah. What would you suggest from your pickups for around 8K, Alnico in the neck, and a much hotter ceramic in the bridge? I would say for those, Adam, I would say I like our center punch pickup, as well as our center punch pickup in the neck and our 8-ball pickup in the bridge would give you almost exactly that. We have another super chat from Dylan. I sent you a message on your site. I have some 1969 Tysco ET440 Spectrum 4 single coil pickups that I may want rewound. Are you familiar with those Spectrum pickups? Do I rewind them? Snarky K, I did not get your email yet. We are always behind on those because we get literally bajillions of them. I don't do that. I don't rewind anymore. We don't have time to do rewinds. So who I would recommend for that would be John at Odessa Pickups. And you can look up Odessa Pickups on Facebook. He is the jam when it comes to this stuff. And he will take on those very interesting pickup formats that I am not 100% familiar with. So I would definitely check out John from Odessa. He's a really cool dude. I've actually been to his shop and shot videos with him. He's a really cool guy. He's in Kansas. Check him out. Odessa Pickups. It's just like it sounds. And he's a great guy. And he would definitely handle that. I'm pretty sure. Let him know I told you to come and see him. For sure. All right, let's see. We got a couple of these comments that came in, and I just want to address them. I couldn't hear what kit you used on your frets. So we use a polishing kit from Lizard Spit company. There's usually a link in the description of our videos to that because I leave that one there because we use it a lot. Works really good. and you can buy it for like $6. It's really cheap. So yeah. Let's see. These are some other questions that came in during the week. On a video, what a $200 guitar looks like. So we took this is had to be 3 years ago because it was in my old house. So with my old truck. So we took a $200 Affinity Strat Telly and took it all apart. And somebody says, I mean, after you spend $750 on the bass and on upgrades, why wouldn't you just buy a player Telly for all of that work? So this falls under the whole resale value thing and the whole value of a guitar thing. If you have a guitar that you like and it's yours, you could do whatever you want with it. You could put $1 million in it. You could encrust it in Swarovski crystals for all I care. It's yours. Do what you want with it and don't worry about what other people think of it. Just do what you want with your guitar. If it's not worth it, just decide how worth it is to you. However, here's what I will say, and I will preach this. I will die on this hill. If it is your first guitar, it doesn't matter what it's worth. Never sell it and do whatever you want to it. Like that is, don't ever sell your first guitar if you can help it. I mean, sell other stuff, sell organs. I don't know. Don't sell your first guitar. You will always regret that. There are probably some people in the comments who sold their first guitar and are like, dang it, I wish I had that thing back. I don't know what, it's a universal thing. Don't ever sell your first guitar. Yeah. Is it okay to install a quarter pound and an SH4B, both Seymour Duncans? Yeah, I don't see why not. From our catalog, we would use our flat 6 bridge pickup and our DAF neck pickup, which would be, that would be pretty similar. What are your thoughts on a bleed through circuit? I'm fairly new to stuff on the inside of a guitar and came across this yesterday. When is the best time to use them? And what are some of the pros and cons? So I actually don't like bleed circuits. I don't use them on anything. I should say my PRS Fiore actually came with one. I'm going to leave it alone because it's the way it came. Actually, I think both of those PRSs. Oh, where's my other one? Yeah, I got another PRS too. And both of the PRSs came with them. I don't like how it makes it kind of thin as you turn the volume down. You really have to get them matched right with the pickups. Most of the time when you buy an off-the-shelf bleed circuit and put it on your guitar, it makes it thinner as you turn the volume down, and I'm just not a super big fan of that. I would rather have the pickup sweeten up as I turn the volume down a little bit, and not worry about that whole thin thing. Because basically the concept of it is people like to use them to maintain highs when you turn the volume down. As the volume, the resistance of the volume pot goes closer to zero, your high frequencies start to go away. This is just physics of the electronics of a of the volume pot. And so as a result of that, you put this capacitor on there that basically, and a resistor circuit that pretty much, for lack of a better word, makes it like a backwards tone knob as you turn the volume down so that more highs come into it. I just don't like it. I'm just not a fan of it. Never been a real fan of that. So I don't really use them. Let's see. New Level Coding said on our Why You'll Never Buy Your Favorite Guitar. Okay, so this is a commercial. Let me tell you something about how YouTube works. Yes, we were inviting people to a class that costs money in Colorado, and I am very proud of it. I'm very proud of the video. I'm very proud of the guitar that you get to build when you come out there. I'm very proud of being part of the whole experience. I think it is amazing, and I think it is something that if you can afford to do it, it is worth being a part of these workshops at Texas Toast. Whether I'm involved with them or not, you need to go out there and try it. Was that a commercial for it? I was definitely telling you about it. Absolutely. And there is a price associated with it. If you think that pretty much any YouTube video is not a commercial, you kind of have another thing coming, because I'm not sure if you know this or not, but these cameras and lights and the time that it takes to produce this stuff doesn't happen by itself. And it is not free. And so getting some sort of financial benefit from making a YouTube video is helpful. You have to do it. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Dylan Talks Tone YouTube channel was started in the first place to advertise the fact that we make pickups. So in that way, every one of my videos is a commercial. I want you to know that I'm here, because this is 2022 and we don't advertise in magazines. We don't advertise in newspapers. We don't advertise in the yellow pages. We don't do what we used to do. Advertising has changed. This is advertising. This is what we do. So I hope you dig it. Snarky K, how much is that class? It's $2,500, which I think is too cheap. I've told Matt many times that they need to be more expensive, because the experience that you get of working for an entire week in a professional shop and building a guitar that's worth $2,500 by itself, I would say the experience is $2,500, and you get a free guitar. That's also worth $2,500. He doesn't charge enough. I mean, does not charge enough. That is for 100% sure. But on the flip side of that, I'm stoked that he's making it accessible to as many people as possible. He also recognizes that you have to travel there too. So I totally get why he's doing it that way. But on its face, a week-long class with all the parts involved and the guitar that you get in the end, $2,500 is way not enough. Because if we built these guitars and sold them, they'd be 25 or $3,000, depending on how you optioned them, just the guitar by itself. So, you know, pretty cool. What in your DAF, what is the difference in tone between Alnico 3 and Alnico 5? I need to take the Alnico 3 option off of the website. I hate making them. They're too squishy. They're not articulate enough. And what we are known for at Dylan Talks Tone is articulate situation. And I should really take the 3 off the site. Just order 5. I would just order the 5. That's, yeah. This is a funny comment. I'm not going to say his name, Bob. That's not his whole name. Somebody said that a new part is going to be harsh whenever I make a change to I plug a guitar into a wall-powered pedal for no less than 40 hours and up to 100 hours before even playing it. Old guitars don't sound better. They're just burned in. Same with guitar speakers. Here's the problem, Bob, with that. It doesn't work. Because there is no... In order for something to burn in electrically, there has to be current. And in a guitar, the current is so negligible that it would never really affect anything in the guitar at all. So that doesn't really work. Sorry to ask another question. The Center Punch or Alnico, do you think they are closer to a Dirty Fingers sound over? They have pokey or mid-range to them. When somebody says, I have a JB and a Jazz, I say Center Punch 8-ball. Somebody says I have a 59, I say Center Punch. Somebody says I have a Dirty Fingers, I say Center Punch. That is the jam. The Center Punch, the Dirty Fingers, the JB, the Jazz could all be replaced with the Center Punch and do all the things that all 3 of those pickups do, except be muddy and gross like a Jazz. Yeah. I have a JB in that purple Kramer back there, and I cannot stand it. I haven't taken it out yet. That's on the list to do some mods. We have a video series that I want to do with that guitar with FU tone and do some Floyd Rose upgrades and do some do a pickup upgrade on the guitar, but I just haven't gotten around to it because we've been super busy with some other stuff. So, but we will get to it. I really, really want to do it. I'm really excited about it. Somebody asked about this or said about the guitar that we built. So the single cut back there that you get to build when you go to Colorado for that class, for that workshop. Somebody said, "Congratulations, you made a Fano SP6 copy." Except that the peg head is 6 in line instead of 3x3. It is a straight Fender style headstock instead of a tilt back. It is a 25.5-inch scale fretboard neck guitar instead of a 24 3/4. It is the bolt-on joint is different. The wood is different. The neck is different. The pickups are different. The bridge is different. Everything is different. I get what you're saying, that it sort of looks like a Les Paul Jr. with kind of Tele-ish stuff in it, but the entire architecture of the guitar is completely different and will never ever sound the same. Scale length, the whole thing. So materials, all of that stuff. So center punches for Epi LPs as well, then I take it. It depends. So if you want like an Epiphone Les Paul, if you want to do coil splits and stuff, use the center punch. If you want just vintage PAF style, use our DAF because they're a little lower output. I like them in an Epiphone Les Paul, and I really like them in an Epiphone 335. I would put DAFs in both of those guitars. If you want something a little hotter and you want something that coil splits, get center punches and 8-balls. But if you want a real vintage style sound, get the DAF. So output wise, it goes DAF is the lowest, then the center punch, then the 8-ball. But as you do that, the sound changes because the center punch gets a little bit more mid-range because of the way we make it, and it also coil splits with no volume drop. The 8-ball is the ceramic version of the center punch. They're the same pickup, but the 8-ball is ceramic. So yeah, kind of cool. It's a neat evolution of it. And for sure, that is yeah. My Epi Les Pauls are all wired for split coil and boost. Center punches all the way then. That's what I would get. For sure, that'd be awesome. Somebody said that the Fender Buckers are low output pickups. They're not wound nearly as hot as even a vintage spec humbucker. That's why it has 250K pots. And then I told him, no, actually that's not true. And he said, yes, it is, from years of experience of playing them, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to just tell you, no, it's not, because of years of experience of actually measuring with a meter, like maybe this one right here. This is 8.5K. So this is more than a PAF. And actually I have a whole pile of them on the floor down there that people have sent in to have rewound and upgraded, because it is wide range season at Dylan Talks Tone. There should be a link to it in the description if you want to send yours in and have them redone. Yeah, I mean, I could measure them all, and I'll tell you right now, they're not wound less than a vintage PAF. They're just not. None of them are. That's just not a thing. Let's see. On the video with the 500K pots, you have new strings on it. Don't you think that affects the tone for video comparison? We put new strings on pretty much everything before we demo them. You would be surprised how many strings we buy here. I swear I change strings more than I do anything else besides make pickups. The white telly in that demo, first of all, there's only one of them. I actually photoshopped 2 in the thumbnail. We had just done our wide range upgrade on it with 250K pots, put new strings on it, did that demo. Then about a week later, took it all apart, put 500K pots in it, put new strings on it, and did that demo. So the sound samples that you heard in that video were both with brand new strings, same brand, just a week apart, but they were both brand new sets. So yeah, super cool. Awesome. So I like to tell people that. I like to take a minute to verify kind of how we do this stuff. One of the other things too, we constantly get accused of like over processing or over producing the sound samples in the videos that we do. Nothing could be further from the truth. I'll tell you exactly how I do it. Right now, we're using the Black Star St. James. It has a reactive load in it. I'm actually shooting the demo on this amp right now, which will be out in, I think, 2 weeks. This amp goes into the Focusrite 18i8, which is over there right underneath the computer monitor. The reverb that you hear is in the amp. When we record, I just use GarageBand. We do not play with the EQ. We do not play with the levels. We do not add compression. I shut all the effects off, and all you are literally hearing is this amp recorded. That's it. Whatever EQ in the amp, that's it. I go as simple as possible so that people don't get the idea that we are trying to manipulate, manipulate the results, because we are doing pickup comparisons of my stuff. So I try to be really, a lot of times. So I try to be really straight about that and let people know that we're not doing that. Because I think it's important. And then somebody, Jean-Claude, I don't think it's Jean-Claude Van Damme though, said there's a thing called editing because he watched a video that was live like this one and thought it should be shorter. Well, there's a thing called a live stream. And I will tell you, I think I can't tell if this is the Harley dealer bugging me or if this is... Oh, yeah. This is my son coming over to work, which is very cool. So, yeah, I hired my son to help us out with stuff. He's pressing together bobbins and grinding magnets. We have a client that wants magnets ground a certain way, so it's pretty cool. I got through most of the questions that I had pulled from the internet. If anybody else has any questions that we can squeeze in here in the next 10 minutes or so, I would be happy to entertain them. Or if you throw a super chat in there, obviously I will stop what I'm doing for that as well. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, this is really fun. I'm gonna try to do one of these once a week where we have just a little looser thing and we kind of talk about some of the stuff that's going on in music news that's not gear, because I feel like it needs to be done. And I never get to talk to anybody about this stuff. Leslie and I both work from home, and we never really go out that much anymore. So it's not like I get to sit at a bar and like hang out with somebody and talk about this stuff all the time. So literally, it's just me and you. So it's cool to be able to hang out and chat about things. Yeah, man. Let's see. What humbuckers would you recommend for a Dean V set neck fixed bridge? I need clean cleans and aggressive distortion. For that, I would say either our center punch or our Super 8. Because those pickups are super articulate cleans. I really like the Super 8 in a guitar like that because you can get kind of a metalier edge when you put real overdrive, not overdrive, but actual distortion, like a 5150, like a SD1 pedal or something. I would say a Super 8 with that guitar, because they have an illegal 8 magnet in them. They're not wound really hot, so they have very good clarity and very good cleans, but they have more magnet, so you still get kind of a good punch to the amp that is nice and tight. And I really like those pickups a lot. We put them in a Telecaster John 5 kind of thing a few months ago and made a video about that. Yeah, those would be cool for sure. I love the music chat structure. Good to know, man. Yeah, it's fun to think about all these pickup combinations and choices. I wouldn't stress about it too much. Obviously, we have a few different models that do a few different things, but they're going to get most people pretty close to where they are. You know, to where you want to be. So, yeah. Let's see. Did you hear Vincent's cover of Piggy from Nine Inch Nails? I did not. Yeah, those ProBuckers are really good too. Yep. What are your thoughts on noiseless pickups, and what would you recommend if you're replacing them? Okay, so I don't like them at all. That being said, if you like them, keep them. Everybody likes something a little different. We usually put our classic fives in place of noiseless stuff because they're still pretty quiet, but they don't lose that strat thing. I want them to be stratty, you know. So yeah, that's what I would use. Hey, dude.
What's up?
I'm live streaming right now, so I did not get your message.
Okay.
So, but you are here
Yes.
to work.
Yes.
So what we need to do today is grind the rest of those magnets.
All right.
That's pretty much it. I like that.
Love the shirt.
It's probably not YouTube appropriate, but I think it's funny. Thank you for busting your butt. Cool. Thanks, dude. And we have a super chat. As always, great show. Keep up the logical content. Have a brew or coffee on me. Thanks, First Sergeant Richard. Yeah, thank you so much, dude. Oh, and I got to give you your little that thing right there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much. Yeah. Thanks for everybody for hanging out with us today. I'm going to usually try to go about an hour on these things. We're going to try to do them every Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern time. And, we got a couple more questions coming in. So, what are your thoughts on the Bourne's 95 series potentiometers? Hang on. Let me make sure that I know what those are because I never keep track of what's what. Oh, I don't know. I've never used these. I've only seen them in miniature. Hang on. Let me make sure that this is right. Let me make sure that we're talking about the same thing here. Yeah, I've never used those in a guitar situation, the 95 series. I've only used those in pedals and some other non-guitar related stuff, so I don't know. I wouldn't give it too much thought because besides the value of the pot, if it's a good quality pot, it doesn't matter what it is. It's going to work. There is a constant arguing and bickering in guitar land about what things should be, but the bottom line is the pot, as long as it's a good quality one and the carbon traces are good and the mechanism is good and the value is right, it's going to be fine. It doesn't matter what it looks like, doesn't matter what shape it is, it's going to work. Same thing with capacitors, same thing with resistors, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't much matter. So yeah, I wouldn't worry so much about those. Cool. Awesome. If we don't have any more questions, I guess we will wrap this thing up. You guys have been awesome. Make sure you check out our news. We're going to, tomorrow morning, We are going to shoot the news like we always do. It will come out at noon. We will have our normal live stream with me and Leslie on Thursday night at 8 p.m. And I have a guitar review from a guitar that you haven't seen on the channel yet, I don't think, next Monday, because I've kind of kept that one to myself. So I guess we will see you tomorrow on the news. Thanks for hanging out.